Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROpulse podcast brought to you by CATS Consultants, helping chiropractors keep their pulse on success. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, and I'm joined today with Marisa Mateja. Marisa, how are you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm good. Here we are floating into the new year.
Yeah.
The weather's been beautiful. Oh, wait, I'm in Florida, so
It
maybe I ought to
hasn't
keep
been
my mouth shut.
horrible. I can't say too much because our December we're pretty much in the 50s and 60s in Missouri, which is pretty good for
Okay,
December.
that's pretty awesome, actually.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm actually not complaining right
I
now.
remember the cold, hard winters up there.
That's right. So it's not too bad.
Hey, so Troy, who couldn't be with us today, Troy sent me an email from not a client, but just somebody out and about in the community. I can't remember. I'm not looking at my email. I can't remember what state they were in, but it was a doctor who had, I thought, what was an interesting question.
Okay.
And the question was, I keep hearing about different rules and different ways to manage things like Medicare compliance, like the ABN and those that's what they mentioned specifically. And I thought, it's an interesting question because we run into this all the time, hearing about people that I don't know if they just confuse the rules or they're making up their own rules as they go. But I thought that'd be kind of an interesting conversation. I know from a compliance standpoint, you hear that a lot.
I do. I do. The making up of the own rules is something that we see a lot of. I don't know or maybe it's not just making up rules, and I'm going to take this a little different for just a second. I almost feel like a lot of times what we see is doctors just not staying in the know.
Yeah. And they
So
misconstrue things.
yeah, so they take things that they hear here and they take things that they hear here and they piece them all together, and now it's their own version of
Right.
what they think should be accurate. Obviously, the ABN is one of the big ones that we see that with, people using it how they want to, not necessarily how it's designed to be used. And then getting tripped up on that because then what they've had the patient sign on the ABN may not actually match what they're sending out in billing or what they're putting on someone's account. So all of
Right.
those little things tie together,
Right.
and you have to follow the rules. And so staying in the know, I'm going to say, is something that needs to happen. And I see that a lot with docs. Oh,
Right.
I'll watch that training later, or I'll pay attention to that later. And then all of a sudden they forget about it and they don't go back to it, and they've missed
Right.
some important topics that they really needed to know for their practice. So
And in my opinion, this is one of the big things that good coaching can really help you with.
yeah,
And that's helping you just kind of manage those rules and manage the changes. And oh my gosh, a new ABN came out. You're less likely to miss it if you're plugged in to a good consultant and have good coaching along the way. Here we are early in 2022, and we've already got two brand new rules that went into play on January 1. So are you plugged into those kind of things?
absolutely.
And if
And
you're
and
not,
those are
that's
huge
when you get in trouble.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're huge. Yeah. So, and I was I was thinking about this over the weekend. I was watching a football game, and not to belabor the point of the football game, but it's a great analogy. And one of the defensive players grabbed the running back by the face mask and tackled him by the face mask. Well, is that legal in football?
No.
No, it's a penalty. And so, the flag comes out and the team's penalized and everybody's upset. But if you just follow the rules, then you don't get flagged for the penalty. And the same thing happens in healthcare. When you
Sure.
don't follow the rules, you get flagged. We call them red flags. And, it's things like misusing the ABN, not following no surprises, um, not managing your CPTs and your ICD-10s well, having bad, I call it the born on date, but the onset date of a case, just not having everything congruent like it's supposed to be, and then just assuming if that you're doing it the right way
Yeah.
and not
Well,
really
and
managing and auditing the process.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. A lot of times what I see is docs don't spend the time to actually see what their note says. Pay attention to what you're putting into your computer systems. You may think you're putting one thing in, but in reality, what's printing out, if you were to have to send in your records, and
Mhm.
we all know with these prepayment audits coming with Optum and all these things, it's going to be really, really important to have really strong notes
Yes,
going
read
out
your
to these
notes.
insurance companies. So read your notes. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm amazed at how many people have been using the same software system for so long. So they just assume that it's all going well, and they haven't looked at what any of the updates may have been with or
hmm,
with the software, and what changes may have come about by clicking that wonderful copy button. That
yep.
copy button is it's
It's
fantastic, right?
dangerous,
Woo!
but it's dangerous at the same time.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's something that if you're not watching carefully, all of
Mhm.
a sudden you could have a wellness note on a new acute case, and you send that off to insurance and they say, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it's important to be paying attention to all of those kind of things. And, we've been talking at great length about all these prepay audits and the new algorithms coming out and all this stuff from the insurance companies. And it could dramatically change the medical environment and how you get paid.
Yeah, very dramatically, and we see doctors' records all the time. Sometimes it's clients, sometimes it's non-clients, because we will at times review records, and we see funny things that doctors are doing. You've got an acute case, and yet your plan says PRN. You've got a brand new case, and yet your diagnosis in your notes are ICD 9s, which we don't use anymore, and your billing records show ICD 10s. It's those little things lacking congruence that get you in trouble.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised at how closely watched you are by the insurance companies, and their algorithms pick up on that stuff like crazy. So you've got to be careful. And I'm not trying to scare anybody.
No.
You can have a great practice, you get paid for what you do, and utilize patients insurance. That's great. Just make sure you're not making up your own rules and you're doing everything correctly.
That's the big thing. Just follow the rules that are set out. And a lot of these
Yeah,
insurance
they're really
companies,
not that hard.
no, if you actually dig through their websites, a lot of them give you
Yep.
some of their rules on codes and that sort of thing, how you can use this. I see a lot of docs using codes like 97140 and making up their own rules for that. And there's very, very specific rules to that code. Very,
Yep.
and little things like that can change how you get paid. So don't make up your own rules. Pay
Yep.
attention to what the coding standards are. Pay attention to what the diagnosis coding standards are. Pay
Hmm.
attention to all those little things
How to
because
use modifiers.
yes, make sure you're code pointing, all these little
Right.
things help you in the long run. Make sure that you are a compliant, very accurate billing and documenting practice.
Right. And every December or January, spend a couple $100 and get a new code book. And don't
Yes.
just stick it on a shelf. Don't just use it as a reference manual. Actually read it when it comes in. Yes, docs, read it. Have your office manager or billing person read it as well, because there's always new little nuances that come out. For example, on some ICD 10s, we've gone to a double digit coding system past the decimal point. So make sure you're picking those things up, because we hear doctors all the time that call us and say, I'm getting denied on a code I've used for 2 years. Well, it changed.
Yeah.
So you missed it. So, that's where you got to just stay plugged in, do things right. Like Marissa said, don't make up your
Yeah.
own rules.
Yeah, please don't make up your own rules. It's so important to follow what's put out there for you, because if you do that, you're in good shape most of the
Yep.
time. You're not going to have worries when, Optum says, we need to see your records and we're denying your claims until we get paid or before you get paid. You're going to be in good shape when you send that stuff in then.
Right. Right. So, follow the rules. That's what it's all about. And it's not that hard. If you need help following rules and staying up on things, get some good coaching and consulting. And by the way, you can go to the CATS Consultants website, catsconsultants.com, top right corner, click on the scheduling button. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you can go right to our schedules and schedule a breakthrough session with us. And let's just talk about what's happening in your practice. And Marisa, we also have a QR code.
We do.
We're so ahead of the times.
I don't know about
that. You can use the QR code as well.
Yeah, that's right. The QR code you'll see right here on the screen. You're welcome to use that to take you to that link as well.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the KC CHIROpulse podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants, helping doctors keep their pulse on success. So be sure, again, to check us out at catsconsultants.com. And from all of us here at CATS Consultants, stay informed and well adjusted. We'll see you next time.
See ya.